right, following up on a TikTok video that was posted, basically questioning how it took, how the driver in that incident was not able to see the pedestrian in time. Yeah, looking at that, it does raise the question, like, how was she not able to see him on time? And I'll show you, and to your point, I will show some information here on my screen record that will kind of support your view on it. However, there are some details that are different that we're going to need to experiment with to really know more about. For one, the headlights on your vehicle, as I understand, are much brighter than what was on the driver's vehicle. Um, so that's something might need to be considered. Also, it was my understanding that the driver was getting passed by an oncoming car with their high beams on around the same exact time that David was being hit. So the view is restricted. Even in that video, you can see that the view is restricted when the oncoming car is coming at you, and their headlights are affecting your own ability to see. But now TikTok, I can't do. I can just do very rudimentary estimates based on just looking at this, playing this through your TikTok video. So I went ahead and screen grabbed it and ran it through my video editor, where I can take it down to the exact frame where stuff is happening. And because I don't know what your speed was, and I also don't know exactly how long it took from when the pedestrian was visible to when they passed by. So I'm going to show you how I figured that out here, okay? All right, so here's your video. Zoomed in on your footage here. Now, two things I was trying to get to here was, what was your speed that you were traveling at? And I had to know both basically how many frames, or exactly the exact amount of time was covered, and the exact amount of distance. Now, I didn't know what the distance was on these. They do tend to be a standard distance apart. Usually tend to be 10, well, interstates, it's usually, I believe, 10-foot long hash marks with 20-foot gaps. So 30 feet per, from the front end of this hash mark to the front end of the next one. However, putting that figure in there was estimating you to be doing over 70 miles an hour. And then I ended up going on to Google Maps. I couldn't get a good clear view on Google Earth and estimate and measure the distance there. So I went on Google Maps and put a pin location on one of these hash marks on there, and went two hash marks down, and that came out to 50 feet. And I'm going to show you over here where I already have it flagged right there, exactly where this hash mark disappears underneath your hood. Now, this is, again, you're using a phone that's not staying steady, so, or at least that's what seems to be the case. So it's my best guess. You can almost say that's where it goes under, but I can still see the end of the hash mark there. So right there is the first frame that I would say it's where it goes underneath your windshield. All right, so then we're gonna count two hash marks. Because see, this one wasn't quite sure if I'd get it quite exact right, and a little bit longer distance would get a little bit better estimate on your speed. So come up here to this next hash mark, and actually right about there is right around in that neighborhood is where you covered two full hash marks. That was 50 feet. Now, how long was this? How much time did this cover? We can see right here it was 17 frames. Now, I have this project set at 30 frames per second. The math comes out to 0.566 seconds, and we can do the math on that. All right, so we know you did 50 feet in 0.566 seconds. Actually, it was so a little bit. Actually, I came out to 88.245 or something like that earlier. But all right, so we can still work with that. It might be a rounding thing there, but now the way we can figure out what this speed is in miles per hour is it's fairly easy. Just multiply it by 3,600, and then divide that by 5280. That comes out to just over 60 miles an hour. So that's all I'm coming up with. I believe your speed was about 60 miles an hour in this video. I don't know how fast the driver was going. One thing we do, it is believed to be the case, though, is that David was walking straight toward the driver, not in the same direction as the driver. Also, I believe David was in the travel lane, or possibly in the travel lane. I don't know that there were any tire tracks in the dirt. And the shoulder, as I saw in the previously, the shoulder is barely even a foot or so wide. It's not much there. So if he was on the shoulder in between the paved shoulder, in between the fog line and the dirt where he was hit, then her car would have had to have gone into the dirt more than likely. There was no dirt. There was no evidence of tire tracks going into there, at least that I could see from what pictures were up earlier. I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm saying there's a possibility that might have been the case. Also, I'm gonna come over here and want to see exactly how much time there was between when that pedestrian in your video first became available to when um, it passes by. So I already have it flagged right there. All right, zooming in. Okay, you can kind of see. It'll help when I move it a little bit, but I believe the pedestrian is right up here. I'm gonna go back one frame. How about? Let me go ahead and zoom in on it. Okay, that might be him right there. I can't tell. Or no, it's. I think this is him right there, next to whatever that white thing is there. So right there, it's. I can't really see him there. I mean, some confirmation bias might tell me that I can probably see him there, but only because I know to look from there. But if I'm not already known to look from there, then I would say I couldn't see him right there. But right there, I can say just barely getting any light on him where he can possibly be seen. And if I come, if this thing will cooperate with me. All right, let me get zoomed in some again. Okay, right there is when he's starting to disappear behind your A pillar, which is probably about the same time that he's going past the hood of your car. That's the exact same frame that I had marked there. Now this is a duration of 4 seconds and 2 frames. So just about 4 seconds of time to be able to see him. Now, again, this is with what appears to be pretty good headlights. My understanding is the incident vehicle did not have such good headlights. Also, this pedestrian is walking in the same direction as you, not towards you. So we need to be able to, be nice to be able to see how much time elapses between when a pedestrian with dark colored clothes on first becomes visible and when they pass by when they're walking toward you and not with you. As for who I am, I'm ultimately just a trucker who vlogs all the time on YouTube. I have a keen interest in traffic safety because of what I do for a living. I grew up in Barstow, right? I used to live right there in Linwood myself. I have no relation whatsoever to anybody involved in this case, though. So I'm not going to sit there and say I'm totally defending one side and not the other. I'm thinking both sides merit cross-examination as far as this is concerned, because what got me primarily interested in this is that the driver was getting prosecuted in the court of public opinion. Her name was being dimed out and smeared in the mud. When we don't even know enough details about the case, there were accusations that she was a hit and run driver when that was found to be completely false. I'm not saying that the people who said that she hit and ran were lying, but I think they were not actually witnesses, and they actually might have shown up on the scene after the impact already happened and after the driver had already gone around the curve and come to a stop over there by where Linwood Road and Tortoise Road meet up. You can't see that location from where David's body came to rest. All right, so also, there are other details here. I really would like to know to make my own judgment call on this. And really, this is stuff that's a jury of 12. If she does get prosecuted at all, um, between a defense attorney and a juror and a prosecutor, how well can they argue this kind of stuff here as well? Now, I've been a juror in a vehicular manslaughter case myself, right? And I can tell you, it's not so easy to convict a person in that kind of case. A lot of times, the young lady I was there who to see the case of, we ended up voting 93 in favor of acquitting her because we thought the wrong person was sitting at the defendant table. We think that even though she was speeding, that she still had a right of way at the intersection, and we had a reasonable doubt that another person there, a witness, might have made a right on red in front of her and caused her to swerve and create the chain of events. So, yeah, there's that kind of stuff that go on. So, I'm not going to say she's not going to be arrested. I'm not going to say that she doesn't deserve to be arrested. But to see that some of the stuff going on social media, when we don't know enough of the details, or and they said if you're going to prosecute her in the court of public opinion, then don't be surprised when you get cross-examined by people as well, and who want to know the truth. All right, so I am curious. Now I can take this as if something does come about, like where it becomes a court case. Some of what I'm saying here could actually show up in court as as evidence or something that could be presented as well by either side. So something you can learn from too. All right. It still comes down also to, did this actually happen in the travel lane or on the paved shoulder or in the dirt? No matter what, It sounded like David was walking straight toward the car that hit him, and the driver of the car was coming right toward him, of course. And well, how do you explain that? How do you willingly allow somebody to hit you and kill you when you're in that situation? You can't tell me you can't see their headlights. I have a friend who last year got hit and ran over by a truck, another trucker, a fellow trucker of mine, a friend of mine. He was in a truck stop parking lot, and what's so interesting about this was that my friend was walking straight toward the truck that hit him, and he still got hit. You know why? Because he was holding his laundry in his hand and talking to his friend on the phone, not even thinking about anything, not paying any attention to his surroundings. Forget about the fact the guy hit him. He made a fatal mistake. Well, he's still alive, thankfully. His legs got ran over and broken, but he could have avoided the whole damn thing had he been paying attention. Okay, so let's look at this. I get the anger over at the driver, but how about be angry about how your loved one probably played a role in it himself and did something to contribute to his own demise? All right, we all make big mistakes in life. He looks like a pretty bright young man, but even the brightest young men and the brightest people in the world make fatal mistakes. Look at any war. There's times brilliant people in wars end up killed because just that one detail they miss. Okay, so a little detail he missed, we can say had a lot to do with his own life ending. All right, so let's look at both sides here. I know you don't want to, but I know people think this is insensitive, but you know what? I'm alive today because my attention to detail on stuff like that. I could have gotten ran over a couple times myself by people. Pay attention. Don't assume that people see you. They could be looking at their phones. They could be drunk. I have a dispatcher who was killed in a car accident by somebody who had a heart attack and crossed over and crashed into her. So you never know. A keen awareness for everything going on around you. Don't let anybody come anywhere near you without knowing what they're doing first. That can be a big key to surviving. All right, this is why I bring this kind of stuff up. It's not a matter so much of who's at fault. What lessons can be learned from everybody on how you can make this not happen to you. I'm constantly on my daughter's case about walking around and looking down at her phone for exactly this kind of reason. And then this incident happened. I actually use this as an example. This is exactly why I keep telling her, quit looking at your fucking phone while you're walking. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Don't let anybody anywhere near you without knowing that they're coming. Because stupid people do stupid things, and stupid things happen. All right? And when it comes to this kind of thing, it takes two people doing stupid things for stupid things to happen. All right? This is not an unavoidable incident on both sides. And this is why I'm saying, we can blame the driver all we want, but we should also be blaming the victim for what role he played in there as well. So let's not criticize the driver too much, especially when what you had going on there, the details aren't all the same. You didn't have an oncoming driver with high beams coming at you right at the same time you were about to hit the pedestrian. And the pedestrian was on the shoulder in the dirt area and walking in the same direction as your vehicle and not toward you. Okay, so I am curious. I'm not trying to criticize what you got there. It's actually a good start, but need more. Need more fine details here that are as close a match to what actually happened, or that we can figure out as possible. All right, so hope this helps. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but everyone calls me one. I know I am, but not that I'm trying to be. I just call it like I see it. All right, I'm a straight shooter. You're probably not going to like what I have to say here, but so be it. How do you stay alive? You get to blame someone else for getting you killed when you don't get to blame them when you're dead. The only way you can blame someone is if you're still alive to blame them for it. All right, that's all though. Sorry, but like I say, all these details need to be worked out, both sides, because this is if this does go to a trial, like a court case. All this kind of cross-exam on both sides actually will happen. Okay, all right. So that's all I got. Again, my condolences to the loss of your loved one. But are we going to learn lessons, or are we going to sit there and point fingers everywhere else? Because fingers can be pointed in every direction. But anyway, that's all I got.